was gone for like an hour and a half. I started to wonder, okay, no phone calls, no texts, which, you can't when you're in the air. And so I was just like, when is Josh gonna get back? And so I started to second guess, should we have done this? It's like a few days before Christmas. We don't need any major events.
I think you could say a calculated risk, but it wasn't that bad.
Hey friends, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It is Friday, August 25th, 2023, and I hope you are having a wonderful day. There has been a new media blitz about Anna Duggar getting kicked out of the Duggar family home after an article was posted back in June about Anna by the Sun and a source alleging that she had been kicked out of the warehouse after an alleged argument with Jim Bob, and he had thrown her out off the Duggar property. And then the claims were that she had been seen in Texas and was spending time down there, and that was kind of the end of it. There was no additional follow-up by the Sun, and for whatever reason, media outlets are now maybe just discovering this article about the Sun, or for some reason just resurfacing it. I'm not sure. But because of this new onslaught of media discussion about her living situation, someone reached out to me that reported her apparently to the police back in July of 2022, and they provided me a copy of their report they filed with the Fayetteville Police Department, a confirmation that their report was received, and a screenshot of the local PD contacting her about what happened. And the report was made by this individual over concerns about Anna living in a warehouse that was not suited or zoned for residential use and zoned as commercial. She has been out of the warehouse for more than just May of 2023. James Duggar, for instance, has been using this warehouse as his home since at least the fall of 2022. When he was posting videos regularly onto his YouTube channel, he showed that he had a bedroom and he was sleeping in a room, and he was using the garage area for his businesses. So he was fabricating different buses, and he was doing different work on the different vehicles that he was purchasing, and he was using the warehouse that Anna had lived. And then he had a bedroom, and then he was shown in a bathroom, and he was clearly in the facility of the warehouse where Anna had been living. And that was back in the fall of 2022. So her being kicked out wasn't recent. And the kicked out seems to coincide with this report that was made by the individual back in July of 2022. So let's talk about what the report says and dive into the topic. Before we do, can you please do me a big favor and give this video a thumbs up? Would love to see about 10,000 of you hit that like button. Smash it, please. All those likes help this channel grow. Make sure to click on the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed before. If you have something that you would like to say, please leave a comment and turn on your notifications by clicking on the bell. Here's the information that I received from the tipster. It says, "I'll make this quick. I finally put my foot down and filed a police report yesterday about Anna Duggar illegally living in a warehouse with the kids. I got a message saying my report was being reviewed, and then later received an email with a case number saying that it was approved and they were looking into it. Then today I got a call from the PD in Fayetteville. I'd left my contact info in the report, and I didn't really know how to respond to the questions they were asking, but I honestly did my best, and I can confirm that the cop on the phone so that they will look into it. I have a case number so I can keep you posted if I get any more info." So they also provided 3 screenshots, and the screenshots of this person's report said the following. "The address that has been provided is a warehouse and is zoned for commercial use, but a woman has taken residence there with her 7 children. The woman has that address listed as her residential address on file, but if you do a map search, you can see that this is a warehouse. This report can be forwarded to Springdale Police Department if it is not for the Fayetteville jurisdiction, but I just wanted to report it because I'm very concerned. There is a residential address which is adjacent to the warehouse, and the woman sometimes has her kids stay with the people at that house when they know they are being investigated or searched. But other than that, the woman and her children are living in a warehouse with no windows, no AC, no heat, and none of the critical safety measures for a structure to be zoned as a residence. My concern is for the children, and I feel like this needs to be looked into. Please note that the woman will try to have her children at the house with a different family to make it look like they aren't living in the warehouse. But check the warehouse and you will find relics of a family living there. You might also go to the house and ask about the children in the warehouse if you are so inclined. And that was filed back on July 21st of 2022. They also provided a confirmation of this and a screen recording and a phone call from the police department, along with a confirmation that the report had been accepted. And then I got another email earlier this week as a reminder from this, and it says, I'm providing you this info since you said there doesn't seem to be a clear reason as to why Anna had to leave the warehouse. I can't confirm or deny that this is the reason, but I'm pretty sure it is the reason since it matches the timeline of when Anna had to leave. So I contacted the Fayetteville, Arkansas Department PD, I believe last year, via an online forum to express concerns about the kids living in the warehouse. The police department called me the following day and asked for more information than then said they would look into. Then I saw that you mentioned Anna was made to leave the warehouse a while back. It seems to be about the time when the police contacted me. I have a screenshot that confirms that, which I've all shown you. The home is actually located not in Fayetteville, but in Springdale, but this is a small community and they're right on the border of like Fayetteville and Springdale and Tontitown. So I guess it could just depend on who looks into it and if they forwarded it to Springdale. Now, I don't know if this is like for sure the reason why she moved out, but it seems to make the most sense because if she has children living in a facility that's not zoned for her to live in, they will ask her to move out of the residence, or the residence would have to be upgraded and zoned to be a commercial or a residential living situation. Whenever there are children involved, they have to be living in a home that is suitable for residential living. And in the state of Arkansas, that means that it has to have so many windows, egress windows for fire safety. There also has to be proper heating, proper ventilation, proper insulation, cooling. Cooling isn't necessarily required because a lot of people in Arkansas do not have air conditioning, but they need to have heat, insulation. They have to have all the fire zoning information, the proper number of bedrooms, bathrooms, plumbing. And frankly, this warehouse isn't zoned and doesn't have an owner occupancy. So all the police would have really had to do to verify this, in fact, would have to go to the county website, see that the property is not actually zoned for residential living, see that the property does not have an owner occupancy, meaning that there's no approval permit for anyone to live in this facility. And because children and minors are required under the law for their welfare to live in a home that has, or an apartment or a structure that has owner occupancy permitting, I could see that this could likely be the reason why she was moved out. And it does really coincide because she has been out of that property for more than a year. I know that the son had made this comment that she was not seen at this property and Jim Bob had kicked her out over an argument. And that could be the line that they're telling people. Like, they could be lying to people and saying, oh yeah, they kicked her out and they had a fight and that's why she's not living there anymore. Rather than saying, well, Anna was living there illegally and because of that, we had to move her out. I mean, the Duggars are not the kind of people that are ever going to admit to any wrongdoing. They will never acknowledge that they've done anything wrong. They will always develop excuses. And when it comes to this situation, I could totally see Jim Bob Duggar throwing her under the bus and claiming there was an argument when in fact there wasn't. Because at this point, there's no indication that Anna lives anywhere other than Arkansas. All of her addresses are currently listed as the Duggars' home. And if you're wondering what the status is of Josh and Anna and their relationship, last week there was a report from an inmate about this alleged argument and how Anna was going to file for divorce, and Josh was telling everyone that basically he and Anna's relationship was over. I can only share with you what a follower of mine who has left many comments. They happen to have a loved one in the same prison as Josh. And I want to be clear that a lot of people see things, a lot of people have opinions. There's a lot of prison gossip, but this is what this person has said. And they said, I saw Anna and Josh together a few weeks back with their children at visitation, and they seemed like they were getting along from where I and my relative who's serving time at Seagoville were sitting. When I saw them, I commented to my relative that Josh's sanctions must be over now, and he responded that he had heard tales of how Josh would talk about Anna disparagingly. And I've actually heard this a lot. I've heard that Josh runs his mouth about Anna, says really nasty, negative things about her, is very crude about her, doesn't treat her with a lot of respect. And I've heard from several people, and again, you can take this for what it's worth, because this is like prison gossip, that he basically says that Anna will never divorce him because he's Josh Duggar, and that she's a fan of his, and that's why they got married. And she loves the accolades that come with being his wife. He really allegedly thinks he's a big shot. And the way that he speaks about Anna matches what other people who know Josh personally in the real world have told me about how Josh treats Anna. In fact, one source I spoke to, that is multiple sources, in fact, that I've spoken to about Josh and Anna, and that are friends with them or were friends with them before all this went down, said that Josh's regard for Anna was always he had none. He was rude to her. He spoke to her, barked at her kind of like a dog. He didn't have a lot of respect for her. He frequently would ignore her. She would be hanging on him, and he would be doing other things. She was very clingy to him, and he was very uninterested in her. Didn't always have the nicest thing to say. And as one person said, Josh treats Anna the way Jim Bob treats Michelle, because he's basically modeling what his father has taught him. So that's all alleged, but I don't believe they'll be getting a divorce anytime soon. Sadly, she is brainwashed, and she is also a victim of Josh. Even though she is the mother of children, she's also a victim of a system that has really nasty rules and pressure they put on women to stay with men that are like him, like Josh. And unless and until she finds the strength to leave, she'll stay in this situation, and she might feel like she has no other options. She might feel like, I don't have the education. She might feel, I don't know how to work. I don't want to have a job. I don't think I can make that kind of money. There's a million things that could be feeling like she is stuck. And, that doesn't mean she can't and she won't leave. She might leave as the kids start getting older, and she doesn't have as many, things holding her to Josh, but it's all just speculative at this point. I think many people have wishful thinking and hope that she will leave and hope that she will take the steps to file for divorce. But as long as she remains faithful to her faith and indoctrinated and doesn't want to disconnect herself from that, she's not going to leave him. And it's sad. It's very sad for the kids. It's sad for Anna too, because as much as she has been a part of enabling Josh, she is also a victim of this cult. And sadly, victims of men can become victimizers of their children. And it's just the ugly cycle of this culture. So right now, as far as I know, Josh and Anna are not divorced. This witness alleges they saw them a couple weeks ago and everything looked fine. The kids were there visiting. I know it upsets you guys, but he can have visits with his children as long as they're supervised. And a source that contacted police believes that Anna was kicked out of the warehouse due to the illegal components of living in an illegal structure with her children, not because of a fight with Jim Bob Duggar. And it's probable that she is still living in the Duggar compound with the Duggars at this time, and it doesn't seem like she has moved to Texas. All right, you guys, tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye, guys.